Hello, this is Brian again. Almost the lens doesn't open all the way when I turn it on. So, I'm following what I remember seeing last time I was here was a use trail. The only thing I saw was a small rock duck up there by the bushes. Yeah. I swear I remember seeing a little use trail along here. I mean, I know my way around here, so it's not that I'm worried about getting lost. I've been over here before. I know how to get my way back. I could follow this ridge to Timbuktu and still be able to get back, because I've been in this area before, so I know my way around. I got some exit strategies here on my left, likely some gullies and small ravines and stuff that I could use, so I don't have to reclimb everything. But I remember seeing a use trail along here. Maybe it was further back and I just went a slightly different angle, perhaps, but I remember seeing a use trail. Maybe it was a race by the sands of time, but it's only been a couple years. Usually they kind of stay scuffed in for a little while. And it's not like you have a lot of overgrowth here. So, just a weird little oddity I noticed, that the little footpath doesn't seem to be visible anymore. I was assuming it was probably a path scuffed in by peakbagger.com users who like to hit the random peaks like I do, hit the random unnamed summits. And I spent, obviously, you watch a lot of my videos, you see that I do the same thing. I do a lot of research on Peakbagger, check out the topo maps, to try to find these fun little off-trail and or seldomly trodden trail adventures. A, the pandemic, social distancing. B, places that are not very well trodden. You can find some pretty cool surprises. You can have some time to yourself. And this is definitely a place for it. Though I do see occasional signs of human presence. Like I said, a rock duck here. Saw some broken glass not that far behind me. This area, I mean, this place is really close to Angeles Crest Highway, so it's not like it's super far out in the boondocks, where it's going to be super far away out in the middle of nowhere. But since you do have to do reasonable amount of work to get up here, it's nothing strenuous, but you do have to do some off-trail, and likely, depending on what route you take, you'll have to do some scrambling. And some people just like to do a short little walk to a spot, have a party, and break their beer glass bottles all over the place and be raucous. And some other people just like to come out here just to kick back, try to get away from that kind of stuff. And I'm the latter of those. But if I am going to come out to a party, which I don't, I'm not really a party person, I'm going to try to be respectful to the land. I mean, I am pushing the boundaries by going off trail. I guess you could say, you could make an argument for that. But even then, I try to be minimalistic on any impact. Because that's the thing about your national forest, you're allowed to go off trail at your own risk. For the most part, except for designated areas, they may say stay on trail. There are places where you have to stay on trail, but sometimes if you go to the little kiosks, especially the one at John Henge Trailhead where I was parked, in clip number 1, they're it doesn't say off-trail travel is prohibited. It says you do it at your own risk. And of course, that's very true. If you are not an experienced cross-country hiker, yeah, you definitely want to maybe get a little practice in. In other words, try some very short off-trail jaunts so you get the feeling for it, see what it's about. But again, off-trail, you know, you do have a much higher risk of getting turned around or getting lost. And since it's not very well trodden, you might run that risk. But if you try to act with some sense, and with a few exceptions, obviously, a few exceptions in my not so distant past, I've made some mistakes. Of course, everybody makes mistakes, but I consider myself a fairly well experienced cross-country travel. I haven't done insanely long cross-country hikes that are completely off-trail, like miles and miles and miles, or like I'm doing 10, 15 miles of completely off-trail hiking. I haven't got to that level yet, but I do like to do a lot of off-trail. Last week in the San Bernardinos, did a lot of off-trail hiking there. And I do a lot of off-trail hiking here in the Angeles National Forest because leaving the trail can take you to some really neat spots. And I like this area because you get some good views and you got some neat little peaks. And I am coming up on some poodle dog. So let's see. Stay to the middle. Trying to avoid stepping on it. So far so good. It's getting a little loose, so it's getting a little crazier. Big rock over here, old Jeffrey pine. It's a little similar over here to the Mount Hillier area. It's kind of similar. Lots of rocks and stuff like that. But there's a lot of poodle dog bush around here. Maybe I made a mistake coming over here. Try not to step on any of it either, at all. There's a lot of dead poodle dog over here. But we're not that far from the peak, from the second little mini peak. Yes, a lot of dead poodle dog over here. You can kind of see what it looks like when it's dead. There's a lot of it over here, actually. Oh well. Just try to be careful where I step. Wow. A little sugar pine seedling over here. A little baby sugar pine. There's not a lot of sugar pine on this side of the ridge. So over here, they tend to prefer the north-facing slopes. Don't really dig the south-facing slopes as much, especially because this area is pretty arid. It's relatively arid over here. Sure, there's a lot of poodle dog around here. Well, this is the other peak. Yeah, there's a little Jeffrey pine growing right out of the rock. It's pretty neat. I wonder if I go around the other side, I can avoid the craziness over here. Let's see here. Alright, so far so good. Like an idiot, I left my other memory cards at home, so I got one memory card today. So this is the second summit right here. Requires a small scramble, nothing really that bad to get up here. Just a very short scramble to get up here. Actually very easy. So I don't know, maybe this is 6617. I don't know. See a John Henge Trailhead from here. You see a lot of the 2009 fire scar here. There's another summit over there. I believe that's where Powell Crest rocks are. Good views. And yeah, good old Winston Peak. A lot of the trees survived, but a lot of them got singed. Doesn't look like a complete burn down though, but over towards Peak 8160, over there on Pleasant View Ridge near Mount Williamson, yeah, it's pretty bad over there. Yeah, it's pretty sad to see. Alright. Alright, it's the Angeles Crest Highway. Barely see it, but it's down at the bottom of the dip, of course. It's kind of cool. You don't get to see a complete crazy amount of the Angeles Crest. But you can easily hear cars when you're up here, but there's not much traffic because there's really not much to... Really not much... I mean, I assumed it was closed right after the John Henge Trailhead, but I think when I get down, I'm actually going to go and see how far I can drive along Angeles Crest to see if I can get any closer to some of those other spots. I think I see another grinding hole. I saw, actually, I didn't have my camera on at that time, but I think I see a little acorn grinding hole. I saw one just past the peak 6629. I saw it looked like a bowl-shaped grinding hole, a little more, they call them metates or morteros, where people grind acorns and pour water and leach the tannins out of them. But I mean, it's kind of an awkward spot, but that canyon live oak shrub, you know, probably hasn't been there forever, so people might have been using that. And I guess one thing of caution, I guess if I go down this way, if I go around this way, there's a huge amount of poodle dog over there. So I'm gonna try to circumvent that and try to go down the least poodle dog plagued way. But yeah, it looks like there's a grinding hole there too, because it's got that really round bowl shape to it. I was looking at some of these dips in the rock here, but these look more natural because they're very irregular. Some of those grinding holes that the Native Americans, I wonder if they were the Tongva that were here. I think the Tongva maybe, and maybe I know parts of the San Gabriels also had they call it serranos, that's the Spanish name for it. Of course, Serrano basically means like mountain person. Comes from the name Sierra, which means mountain range. See, in Spanish, a lot of the words in Spanish, it depends. A lot of words that have that E stem, like Serrano, like S-E-R-R-A-N-O, they that E stem changes to an IE when the stress is placed on that E sound. So serrano, because the stress is on the A, serrano, when it becomes Sierra, when the stress falls on the E. It's not Sarah, even though the name Junipero Serra, one of the padres, during the colonization of Alta California, his name is Serra, but generally, if an E is there that gets the stress, it becomes an IE. Like, you say, I'm going to close the door, voy a cerrar la puerta, or you can say, cierro la puerta, the IE stem change. Alright, well, this isn't meant to be a grammatical lesson, but just wanted to show you, you know, if you don't really have a lot of knowledge of Spanish. I have a fair knowledge of it. I mean, not fluent in it, but I know some. And just know that you have stem changes from E to IE when the stress is placed on that E a lot of times. And that's just trying to explain. That's how Sierra and Serrano are related, because they come from the same root word. Alright, well, that's enough of me blabbing about grammar, but just figured that'd be something interesting to point out. Just gonna kind of work my way down. I guess I don't know if I'm gonna go all the way to Valcris Rocks. I don't want to. If I do it, I'm gonna want to document it, of course, and then it's gonna take up more memory. So, all right, I guess I'm gonna start going cross country down this slope here. Hoping I don't get into the poodle dog bush. Well, I'll see you on my next adventure. I'm just going to be walking cross country down to the highway, so really little need for me to film a lot more. So I'll see you on the next adventure.